Hey everybody, this is Sarah Harnish. I'm a Young Living Diamond and I'm the author of the Game Plan book. Game Plan is the complete strategy guide to go from starter kit to silver. And today is day 4 of boot camp, which means you've made it, well, by the end of tonight, a quarter of the way through. So very proud of you. The tools that you need to be able to do this boot camp are the book and the workbook. If you're ever unsure, if you're missing me, all you got to do is right when I go on, there's a little button on the top of your screen there that should say follow. Follow Sarah, follow me. Click on that and it'll notify you right when I get on. We've got a lot to cover tonight, so you're going to laugh at me. I got a clock going here next to me, and I'm like determined to fly through this tonight, so I'm going to jump right in at the very, very top because this is a lot of new material, new content. This is something that I've been listening to you guys while I've been speaking all over the world over the last year, and I've been tailoring this second edition specifically to you. And so this is a lot of second edition material tonight. It's a lot of stuff from Unstuck that I haven't released yet that's going to be coming out this fall. And so you're getting a lot of new content, so I have to work pretty quickly to go through it. So our oils of the night, tonight, sandalwood. You can do Royal Hawaiian or Sacred. Sacred is from Darwin, Australia, and Royal Hawaiian is from our farm on the Big Island in Hawaii. Or another option is Shootran, which I love, 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 love Shootran. Another option is Ula Friends. These are good oils for communication, all right, for breaking down fear of talking to new people. Another one of my favorite oils for communicating with people, especially ones that you don't know, is Gathering. Really good oil for talking to people that you're afraid of. And then the king of oils, which I'm sure he'll make his return many times during boot camp, and that is frankincense. All right, frankincense. So oils of the night. I'm going to have to just start calling it oils of the night because I just can't narrow it down to one oil. Sandalwood, Shootran, Ula Friends, Gathering, Build Your Dream is another really good one. So is Transformation. They're both fantastic. I know I do keep teasing you on Unstuck. I'm sorry, Bernadette. I'm going to just get that thing busted out so I can get that printed. All right, little auricular emotional therapy for you tonight. Auricular just meaning in your ear. We're going to talk about rejection. All the oils I picked tonight were for communication with other people or rejection. I don't want you to fear rejection. I want you to be able to handle those no's and take them standing up and keep moving. Rejection is the biggest reason I see why people walk away from network marketing. And you don't need to. You don't need to, because the skills that you need for network marketing, you already have. You know that, right? Like, you're already recommending things to people. You already love people. You already want to meet needs. You already want to care for people. You already have all of those qualities. So you just have to transfer them into network marketing and learn the right language and verbiage to get them to work in this sphere so that you get paid for it, get a willable income, and then pass that down to your kids. It's not necessarily a bad thing to have these skills, but sometimes it's a little scary talking to people that you don't know. So rejection, one of my favorite places is if you look at your ear, right in the inside of your ear, you got this little piece right here that sticks out, that's stuck to your head, right? That's a really good place to put oil for rejection. And then also right here at the bottom. All right, right at the bottom of your ears. So that's where your nerve endings come out. I know it sounds really weird, taking Gathering, putting some on your finger and rubbing it right here. What's all that about? All that is about the fact that your physical body has nerve endings in an electrical system that go to your brain, that run down your spine, and that's where those nerves come out. They come out in 5,000 different points in the human body. Those are your VitaFlex points, but a couple of them are in your ears. That's a really good place. Actually, hundreds of them are in your ears, but that's a really, really good place to put emotional oils, particularly ones for rejection and for communicating with other people. So sandalwood, Ula Friends, Shootran, Transformation, frankincense, and then one of my personal favorites is Gathering. It's okay if you have it pierced. See, I got piercings up here too. Still works. Yeah, still works. Still got nerve endings there, whether it's pierced or not. All right. I used to think that I could never do network marketing because I come off as really salesy to my friends. Keep in mind, guys, I don't have a background in sales. I don't have a background in network marketing. I nothing, absolutely. The last 22 years of my life, I've sat in a little tiny room with a microphone in front of my face and I've talked to a wall. That's my experience. I could put together a newscast in my sleep, right? And I have no fear of turning a mic on and having 5 million people on the other end. But when it comes to standing in front of human beings and communicating with them and reading their facial expressions, that was really scary to me. And more than anything, I didn't want to scare away the new friends that I had made when I had moved across the country from Chicago to New York. I was worried about being very salesy to people, right? The biggest thing I think for me was I felt like I was forcing my friends to buy things off of me constantly that they couldn't afford. Anybody in here feel like that? Like, I don't want to make them buy something. It's $160. I don't want to force them to make a purchase that they can't afford it, right? Sarah, why are you having me talk to people when they can't afford it? All right, let's just pause right there for a minute. I'm going to debunk a few of your thoughts, all right? They need respiratory support. I don't know anybody that doesn't need respiratory support in a 12-month period. Even people who take really good care of their bodies and eat all organic everything still have exposure to bugs, right? They need respiratory support at some point, either them or their spouse or their kids, right? They need pain relief like Cool Azul. They need that in their life. They need immune support. They need many, many different types of support for their body, right? They're going to get it somewhere. They're going to walk out, they're going to buy it somewhere, right? It'd be better to be you than to be the grocery store or the drugstore or all the other different places that they could go. It would be better if that place is you. It's either the grocery store or it's you. And the grocery store supports a CEO's third house. So why not somebody in network marketing? Right? Why not put gas in their gas tank and put food on their table and pay for their daughter's ballet lesson? That's a better use than their house. Right? Than a CEO's third house. So the kit is $160, guys. That's a yard sale that leads to freedom is what that is. That's one yard sale. My average yard sale, I take in like $300 to $1,000. You don't even need a whole yard sale. That's a lemonade stand. All right. Your kids outside at the end of the garage for an afternoon would cover your starter kit. So how bad do you want it? How bad do you want it? Do you know that I go into the projects? I go into the projects and I train the people in the projects because I believe even if they're in the projects, they need it more than anybody else. I taught an entire class to people living in Section 8 housing about a year ago, and we had 100% kit sales in the class because I told them, listen, guys, this is your way out. This is your freedom. This is your freedom. Go do a yard sale and then go have freedom. Right? That's a better use of your time, right? For the whole expensive thing, man, do I get that all the time. Here's the deal. Young Living is 30 years ahead of everybody else. 30 years ahead, looking for frankincense resin, looking for lavender fields, sourcing peppermint, sourcing Palo Santo, heck, sourcing oils nobody else even got, like Dorado Azul, right? We were the only people with Gpb up until about 6 months ago. So we're light years ahead of everybody else at finding the best oils in the world because Gary's been looking for them for decades. So people come to you, you just say, listen, you get what you pay for. You get what you pay for. If you want something that's going to work, don't buy it at the grocery store. There's a reason why the oils are 3 oils in a diffuser for $20. It's because they're not oil. It's all synthetic. That's not taking any step away from where you already are. If you want really good, pure, true stuff, you got to get it from the right place. And Young Living is the right place. It goes from the farm to the bottle to you. That's it. All right, that's it. So it took saving for me. It took discipline for me to be able to get my kit, but we did it. And then look at what it did for our family, guys. Like, look at what it did for our family 2.5 years after getting our starter kit. It not only provided copious financial freedom, but it has totally changed the way that I care for my kids. Totally changed the way. I mean, I thought I was taking really good care of my kids until Young Living. I got Young Living and I was like, okay, all right. Allison, you've been getting laughed at when trying to promote the oils. It's really a confidence crusher. We're going to hit that. All right, we're going to hit that. You just stick with me tonight. I hear you. I hear you. So if they show up to class, you don't need to feel salesy in talking to them about getting the kit because they came to you for training. They came to you to get knowledge, right? They want to know how to do this. So you don't need to feel salesy because they came in the door, they're looking. So when you end your class and say you've survived Essential Oils 101 and you don't tell them how to get a starter kit or have a laptop there that's hooked up to the internet where they can order, or tell them that the kit is half off and it's the only thing on Young Living's site that's half off and it's a ridiculously good deal. If you don't tell them any of that stuff, that you're a frugal mama, that you like stuff that's cheaper than it should be, right? Then you're missing the boat because they came to you to get trained. Exactly. Young Living is your grocery store. Bam. You totally nailed that, right? Here's the thing. You're changing their course of action. What am I doing with you guys right now? I'm doing mindset training because you got to get this stuff in your head before you're going to help somebody else understand it and believe it. So just mindset train with me for a few minutes here. I was facing that way, right? Back there. And now I'm facing this way because I care for my kids completely differently. You have wellness knowledge that needs to be passed on. It needs to be passed on, especially to those that you care about the most, even though they can be the hardest to convince. It's like preaching to Nazareth, right? Start from that place. Nobody uses thieves cleaner and then goes back to pledge, right? Or goes back to the chemical cleaners. Nobody uses it and then goes back because they don't like the way they feel when they're using it. They don't like the smell. The chemicals bug them. They start getting headaches walking past the chemical cleaning supplies at the grocery store. They don't feel good, right? So it's a reversal in their path. You've been trusted with something very precious in the blessing that is Young Living. So do not waste it. You're wasting it when you're wasting your knowledge. When you're sitting on it, you're not sharing it with people. Yes, you should have an option to share this video when you're done. Matter of fact, I encourage you to share it. You should be using it with your teams, right? You should be boot camping with your teams. So let's hit on just a couple of concepts that are really going to help you in that mindset shift of educating versus selling, right? Educating versus selling. Empower people to trust their instinct when something is off. AKA, I'm using cleaner on my counters and on my dishes that has 7 poisons in it, right? That would be something's off. Or they need to know about the 3 cabinet challenge. Train them to hunt for poison in their home. So when they leave your class, they go home, they pick any 3 cabinets in their house, flip over the bottles that they're using right now, pick an ingredient on there that looks shady to them or that they don't know anything about, pop it in Google and write the words dangers of in front of it. And they will realize what they're doing to their family every single day that they clean with that stuff. Every single day they slather that deodorant under their armpits, on their lymph nodes, and putting aluminum directly into their lymph system, right? Every single day they have exposure to those things. Guys, you are the gatekeeper of your home. Only you can control what's in the 4 walls of your house. Only you. And you got to train the people around you to look for the same poison in their home so that they have a critical eye and they're not just letting everything over the threshold of their doorway. They also need to know that they're not alone, that the simple swap going room by room is really overwhelming, right? But not when you take it a room at a time. Not when you focus on your laundry room 1 month of ER. Not when you focus on your kitchen the next month of ER. Not when you focus on your cleaning supply closet the next month of ER, right? When you go room by room by room by room and you break it down and you do the simple swap, that's in the back of Fearless, and we'll do Fearless training tomorrow. It's not as overwhelming when you take it in little bite-sized pieces, right? How many people have come to you and said, it's so much, I don't even know where to start, I'm really overloaded, everything poisons me, everything today is bad. You know what? You got to have one place that you can go where you're not getting poisoned, and that place is your house. You have to have one sanctuary that you protect, right? You have to, or you're setting yourself up for a plethora of diseases because you're letting all that poison in your body every single day. You got to have a spot that you can go to get away from it. And that spot should be the protection of your home, should be the protection of your babies, of your spouse, right? Of yourself, of your body. It's got to be the protection of you and your family. That's where your zone starts, that you keep people safe, right? They need to know that every single bite, every single smell, everything they allow into their home has a consequence. Everything they allow in. Most people deal with the consequences with pills. They want a pill to fix how they feel. But the root cause is lifestyle and choices. And so if you change those things, you change the consequence, right? If you change the root cause, the lifestyle and choices, then you change the consequence. So, all right, let's go into how to share with people. There's only 2 things that you need to do this successfully. 2 things. And I told you, as far as the words to say, you already got that because you've been doing it long before Young Living, right? Long before Young Living. The 2 things that you need to share successfully are passion and compassion. Passion is a love and excitement for the products and a diehard belief that they're going to work, right? When you use them. And compassion is meeting people where they are with no judgment. None. You bring that judgment card in, you have lost them, and you've lost the ability to build a relationship with them. So you've got to meet them where they are without any judgment, right? And you've got to have fire for the products. You got to have fire for Young Living. You don't have to be an expert. That's one thing that's not required. I was not an aromatherapist when I built my Young Living business. I went for it later. I wish I hadn't, because I wish my team knew that I didn't have those credentials. I don't think they helped me at all in my climb to diamond. Not at all. Learning about genus and species did not in any way help me recommend, Cool Azul pain cream to my neighbor or offer a cough drop to somebody, Thieves cough drop in church. Has nothing to do with being an aromatherapist. You don't need that, right? What you do need to learn is third-party tools. Third-party tools will save your tush because they're duplicatable. You have to ask yourself that everything you're doing has to be copied. So if you open a retail storefront, you're scaring all your leaders away. They can't drop $1,000 a month on their order, right? If you go for aromatherapy certification, you're scaring all your leaders away because they think they got to be certified to do what you're doing. All right, because you got all those letters after your name. If you're dropping buku bucks on advertising every single week, dropping $500 on, training for social media and all that, your leaders think they have to go do those things to be able to build the business. The best way to do it is grab your 3-page script, sit on your couch and open your starter kit. That's how you train duplication into your team. You do things that are duplicatable. Right? If you're out there and you're doing things that are not duplicatable, you are scaring the tar out of your future leaders, making this huge make and take with all these supplies that you got from all these different places and all these, chalkboard paint and little chalkboard signs and big poster board when you walk in the door with all the science of oils, and you got your huge reference guides, encyclopedia spread out, 25 books you got on the front table when people walk in the door. What are you doing? Every single leader you got that might be up and coming in that class, they're like, I can't do that. I can't hand out a folder to every single person that comes into class with 60 pages of photocopied information with VitaFlex points and in-depth aromatherapy training. First off, the people coming to class, they just want to know how to make their teenager not stink anymore, right? They don't need to know the 5,000 VitaFlex points on the body. But secondly, and more importantly, you're scaring the tar out of people that might consider the business because they're looking at everything you're doing. If you sit down with 3 pieces of paper in your hand and a starter kit, they can do that. That they can do. Keep it simple. Keep it simple, all right? And learn third-party tools, because third-party tools means you're not the expert. Right? Gosh, I don't know the answer to that. Why don't you go check in the reference guide? Here's where I got mine. Man, I don't know the answer to that, but maybe you could look that up at pubmed.com. I don't know about all your business questions. I just started my own business about a month ago, but there's a book that this woman from the projects wrote. She went to Diamond in 2.5 years. It's called Game Plan. It's on Amazon, right? It's like in the top 20 on Amazon. Why don't you go get that book and go read it? Because I think it'll bless your socks off and answer your questions on the business. That was a total shameless plug for my book right there. Right? You don't have to be the expert. I don't know about purity. I don't know. I'm kind of learning alongside you, but I do know that Young Living is the world leader in essential oils. They're doing $1.5 billion in sales. It means people keep coming back, right? And there's a book you can read called D. Gary Young, World Leader of Essential Oils, written by the founder's wife. I bet that'll answer a lot of your questions on purity, right? Why don't you just start in that place? You just point them to the tools. Point them to where they can learn a little bit more about that. Don't you pretend to be the expert. You don't have to be the one that's been to 15 farms. You don't have to be the one with aromatherapy certifications. Don't do that because you're scaring them, right? You're scaring them. Exactly, Geneva. Total overload, all right? So when I speak, I like to use the longest medical term that's out there, right? So say somebody comes to you with health questions. As you guys are going to get that. They ask a health question. You're like, gosh, I don't know the answer to your pneumono ultramicroscopic silicovulcanconiosis. I haven't dealt with that before. That's a first for me. But why don't you take my oils, try them, and just see how you feel? Right? Just try them. Why don't you take these home and see how you feel? I've never dealt with that before, but you just take this and let's see how you're doing in the morning, right? Loan your stuff out, man. Point them to the direction on how to look things up and loan your stuff out. That's as hard as this gets. That's as hard as this gets. We don't need to take it a level beyond that. Why do you feel like you need to be the expert? Fear. You fear that people won't accept you because you're not educated enough, right? Do you trust the person at Panera Bread who, because they're educated in the science of making your bread? Or do you, no. You're just hungry. You just want food, right? Do you refuse the order at Starbucks because the barista doesn't know about the sourcing of the coffee beans? No, you just want something to drink. Do you expect the Barnes & Noble rep to have knowledge on all the books that are published out there, or even just the ones in the store? No, you just want to read a book, right? You just want to read a book. All right, your person just needs oils. You don't have to be the expert. The scientists at the distillery, the ones that do all of the check-in with the GCMSs and all that other good stuff at Spanish Fork, like they're the experts. You don't have to be the expert at anything. You don't have to have the knowledge. Just say, gosh, I don't know about that. Why don't you take this and just see how you feel? I love you. I care about you. I don't have the answer to your question. I'm not going to pretend to be a doctor or have any of that knowledge, but why don't you just take this and just see how you feel? Because I believe that God put oils on this earth for a purpose, and maybe this is the answer to your question, right? Maybe this is the answer to your question. So you don't need to lead a horse to water. You just have to salt the oats. Just salt the oats. Get them looking. Get them paying attention to what they use. Being critical of the stuff in their cabinets. Get them convicted one product at a time. Now into some second edition game plan training. You guys ready? I have like 2 minutes to do 3 pages of training. I'm going to fly through this. This is from second edition. You can get this on my website. It's got a blue bar across the top. So second edition, oilabilityteam.com. The books are half off. All right. If you want to take your leaders through this when you're done with it. So how do you get people to listen, right? How do you know, Allison, that you got the wool pulled over your eyes? I'd be like, hey, you know what? That wool must be super thick because I used 80 different oils successfully the first week. And you know what? I didn't poison my liver. I didn't flood my body with toxins. Are you looking at what's in your cabinets? Are you paying attention to anything? All right, move on. Man, if they are not willing to listen, you just kick the dust off your feet and you move to the next person. You move to the people that will listen, that have common sense, that are totally not okay poisoning their family. Those are the people that you work with, all right? Those are the ones you work with. So second edition training, how do you get people to listen? This is actually a lot easier than you might think to get people to listen to you. I'm almost done writing an entire book on how to get people to listen to you called Unstuck. I spent an entire year collecting the ways that you were out there sharing essential oils. Over 80 pages of different ways that you're sharing, different ways of teaching classes, because believe it or not, I think there's more than one way to teach a class. I think if you're conveying the information from the 3-page script, however you do that, whether it's at a vendor event, one-on-one, lunch and learn, corporate class, Instagram, I don't care. As long as they're getting the information and you're getting results from it, you just keep doing that way. There is no wrong way of sharing. Now, you have to make sure what you're doing is duplicatable. Don't do stuff that your leaders can't copy, right? That's different. That's different than what I'm talking about. But there's 1,000 ways of sharing oils, and they're not wrong. If they lead people to oils, then they're right. All right, then they're right. So back to Unstuck. There's 100 pages of mindset training in it, 4 scripts for each of the 4 starter kits, Savvy, Thieves, Oils, and Ningxia. That book is a powerhouse. And so I interwove some of the new content of the second edition of the first game plan book with Unstuck for tonight's training. So here's my formula for getting people to listen to me. Focus on the art of the relationship. I'm going to repeat that. Focus on the art of the relationship. It's why you don't need to be an aromatherapist or have a college degree in marketing or in sales, because all that matters is the relationship. One on-fire oiler will blow up your business. The average person knows 2,000 people by the time they're 20 years old. 2,000, that's how many they have contact with. I'm not talking about close inner friend circle. I'm talking about the person at the gas station they see every day when they get the gas in their car when they're going to work. 2,000 people that they see. The average silver ship has 100 people in it. 100, okay? One on-fire oiler can blow up your organization's OGV if they capture the passion that you have, because you could build 20 silver ships with one relationship. 20, right? So how do you get there? How do you get from your love of oils to their love of oils? Listen. That's the secret. Listening. All right, listening. If you are silent for 2 minutes, they will tell you more than you need to know about them just by asking leading questions like, how do you feel? How are your kids? How is your spouse? How is your dog? What do you do for work? How's your stress level? Tell me about your job. What do you do for fun? How do you relax? The art of listening unlocks the entire secret of network marketing. Ask a leading question. I want you to practice this. Ask a leading question even to somebody you don't know. Ask it to the lady at Walmart when you're checking out, okay? Ask a leading question and then just listen. Just step back and just listen. Just listen to what they tell you just from one question. It will blow your mind. And then be there to meet the need, right? Be there to meet the need. That's how you get people's attention. You're there for them and you offer something in return. So let me walk through that again. Leading question, listen, offer an oil. Right? Leading question, listen, offer an oil. Yes, Claudia says forming. She's dead on. You've been Danny trained, right? So ask a leading question, listen, and then offer an oil for that. Sometimes it's ask a leading question, listen, and wait. Right? You're not always going to have an opportunity to offer an oil in the first encounter. That might happen for a few conversations, but you're building trust. You're building a relationship. And when that door opens, then offer an oil. Work with that person intimately until they discover what you have discovered. And that is that the Lord made the plans for the healing of the nations, right? Revelation 22:2. It's right in scripture. And so their passion is going to grow. It's going to grow because you just keep meeting needs for them. They need that aha moment when their son or their daughter needs respiratory support, or their spouse tries Cool-Azul, or when they're in church, and you hear the coughing going in church and you offer a thieves cough drop. You got to be there for them in those moments. And that's how you build an oils team. Brick by brick, relationship by relationship. Don't look at the stories of the diamonds that sell 50, 60 kits a month. Okay, that's not normal. It's really, truly not normal. They are extraordinary at what they do, but it's not the norm. Most oils organizations are built literally piece by piece, foundation by foundation, brick by brick, relationship by relationship. And then people will look at what you're doing, they see the freedom that you have and say, wait a second, I think I want that for myself too, right? I don't think I've ever sold more, I don't even know, than maybe 12 kits a month. And those are really, really good months for me. But it's all about just building relationships, being there in the moment, right? You might think that building online gets you out of the person-to-person contact, but it's not true. If you're building online, you still have to make time to respond to every IM, every comment, every like on every photo. All the questions I just mentioned above, you got to ask them again, right? You got to ask them again. How are you? What made you click on this class? Talk to me and tell me how I can help you. Tell me how I can serve you. Tell me where you're at. What's going on in your life? What caught your attention about this? What one word did you want to walk out with? I don't usually give out samples, Amanda, unless I got a really good reason to. I'm more likely to loan out my own personal oils with my diffuser, let them take 9 drops and return it, or a cough drop. I don't make up hundreds of samples and walk around and just hand them out. I don't believe in that because that's not getting good yield on your investment. Build the relationship first. Meet the need, right? Meet the need, loan your things out, and then see where that goes. Yeah, likes. Like you make a post and then a whole bunch of people like it on Facebook or like it on Instagram. You're responding to every single one of those. I actually think online classes can be a little bit more time consuming because you got to work on building all those relationships after the class. So in an in-person class, you build them while you're in the class, right? And then you lead them to the kit and they order at the end of the class. An online class, you got to go through and do all the hard work afterwards and talk to all the people that responded to everything that you said in that class. It works. And there are many, many diamonds that have built online very successfully. So please hear me. I'm not putting down any method of sharing. None. I won't do that. But I think that if you're going into online classes thinking you don't have to build relationships or it protects you from that contact, that's not true. That's not true. All right. Okay. Another thing I want to tell you about. Release yourself from the pressure of being perfect. Okay, you're just there to love on people. You just love on people. You love on them and you lead them to the kit. And listening is your greatest tool. It's your greatest tool. So here's a few more tips for filling classes. Although I believe an audience of one, that you've invested in will open an entire room of people for you. I've had it happen to me over and over and over and over again. Those audiences of one. You get one signed and you say, hey, can I come teach to your 3 closest friends? It's really important that they get the knowledge that you just got, right? And then you just show up and you teach to more of them. So here's something I hear a lot. I don't know a lot of people. How do I get to the one? How do I connect with the one person that's going to open up the door? Here's the trick. It's not who you know, it's who your friends know. Okay, it's not who you know, it's who your friends know. Network marketing is built on friends of friends of friends. So you tap into your friends' friends from the very first class. All right. You start with that one person you might know. They may not even end up getting a kid, but you might catch the interest of the people that are in their circle. All right. In their circle. So choose a date for your class, set up your event. I like to do my marketing for the class on Facebook, and I do my classes in person, but you can also do your classes on Facebook. Just know that you still have to build relationships, right? Use wording that will get their attention. I like to leave all my settings set to public because I like the most amount of people to see it. I don't set it to private. Invite 3 people to invite their friends and then offer an incentive. You only do this though after you build relationships with them. If you're not building relationships, you're losing a key element. Without the relationship, this doesn't work. Okay, it doesn't work. So host the event, rinse and repeat. Setting up a Facebook event and expecting 200 people to show up to your house is not effective marketing. You're in direct sales. This works by word of mouth, right? It does, which can be online. It can be done online, but it doesn't work by just blanket throwing things out on the internet and expecting people to respond to you. That's not effective marketing. Building relationships is effective marketing. All right. My sister Rachel, she's the one that I opened Unstuck with. She had 103 no-show classes, 103 no-show classes before mastering one-on-ones with the cubicles of the girls she worked with at the credit union. And then she would meet with them over lunch. It was amazing. Now she's got almost a platinum OGV in Young Living, and she and her husband are expecting their first baby in 3 weeks. But it was all in the art of the relationship. You've got to meet people where they are. Another tip, track your warm market. Track it because you know a lot more people than you think you know. And remember, it's not always about who you know. It's also about who they know, right? So you might say, gosh, I don't really know if I want to talk to the gas station lady at the gas station that I go to every single day, but maybe she's not going to get a kit, but she'll get excited about something to tell a friend, and then the friend is willing to host a class for you, right? It's friends of friends of friends of friends. So people will respond to you when you focus on them. So tonight, I want you to make a list in your workbook. You're going to start the list. You're not going to be able to make the whole thing of Christmas cards, address books, social media, Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, wedding cards, your last 5 jobs, friends from high school, friends from college, friends from church, friends from your small group, places where you volunteer, the soccer field, every single place your kids have contact with other human beings, small group, your kids' friends' parents, the post office, person you see at the gas station every single morning. Those are the faces you want on your warm market list. And you start building relationships with those people. Maybe the person who drops your mail off every day. Build relationships with them. Meet them where they are and love on them. Another tip I've got for you is once you develop those relationships, take your paycheck for the first 6 months and just stick it in your gas tank. Go where you know people. Go where you have friends. Now, I'm not giving you a license to go to the Bahamas, right? But go where you know people. Go an hour away. Go 2 hours away and start investing in the people in those circles, all right? In those circles. Just put it right back into your gas tank. Online classes that you still need to build relationships. Tips for talking to your cold market. You still have to collect their contact information. So a method that I use for that, say you're talking to somebody who's at Walmart, is, do you mind if I Facebook friend you? I just want to make sure you're okay. Right? I'm going to check in with you in a day or two and just see how you're doing. You've had such a stressful day today, and it breaks my heart because I spent 11 years in retail. I know where you are. I know this place where you are. And so I just want to encourage you. Would that be all right? You get their name, you add them on Facebook, and they're right in front of you. You get out of the store, you say, hey, this is Sarah, the crazy oils lady that just talked to you. I'm just going to touch base with you in a day or two. Thank you. Thank you for just telling me where you're at. I'm just broken for you. I know that place. And you're on my mind today. Right? That's it. That's how you build relationships with people. You just care about them more than you care about your fear, right? Right? Tips for going to a vendor event. I'm going to go through this kind of quickly, but we've got a long form vendor event training in the other boot camp, and I added a whole bunch more vendor events in the second edition of the game plan book. But here's the nitty gritty of it. You need a basket. You need to collect their contact information. So have some kind of a giveaway basket that you can use to collect their contact information, right? And the number one thing is you need flip kits on the table. So kits that you order, that you put on your table, they walk through, make an impulse buy, and then their kit ships to you, right? You replace your kit by putting your address in when they're ordering right there in front of you. Absolutely works. Absolutely works. I've got one lady on my team that built from 8,000 to 36,000 in a year. She went all the way to gold just by doing vendor events, just that one thing. But you got to collect their contact information. You have to, or you've got no leads for classes. So the last thing I want to hit on tonight, and I'm about 6 minutes over, so I'm going to fly through this, but it's such an important topic that I really, really need to hit it. This is totally new content from the second edition of Game Plan. And this is how to talk to people that you don't know. All right. If you like role playing, Suzanne says, giving us these examples is really helpful. I gave you 10 role-playing exercises in the second edition of Game Plan because you guys have given me a lot of positive feedback on role-playing. Matter of fact, I'm actually going to give you one example out of the book as well while we're going through this. So how to talk to people you've never even met, because man, does that open your market wide open, because there's like 9 billion people on the earth, right? So start the conversation correctly. First off, no, it's not like this. Hi, I'm Sarah. I'm a Young Living Essential Oils distributor. Would you like to buy my starter kit? That's not how you talk to your cold market, people you don't know, right? You don't do that. More like, wow, you look really tired today. How are you doing? How are you doing, right? And so that's a really good place, really, really good place to start. Let me give you an example. This is these are all actual conversations that I've had with people. So I just gave examples of my own situations. TSA agents, hardware store, Diamond Gala. I even signed somebody at the Diamond Gala, post office. Here's an example of a short one from Nordstrom. When I went in, I've only been in Nordstrom once in my life. It was to get my Diamond Gala dress, and I got dragged in there by my silvers. But so I walked up to the cashier. It's a woman who'd been helping me with my dress. And I said, "You look so tired today." Literally, that's how the conversation started. "You look so tired today." And she says, "Oh man, it's been such a long week. It's really stressful running back and forth between all these booths, trying to help women. But I get to end each day knowing I made a difference helping someone feel beautiful." And then I say, "Man, I completely get it. I used to work in retail for 11 years. I came home so tired. Do you have a way to unplug when you get off your shift?" So do you see what I just did? I just asked a leading question, right? I'm leading her to the next question. Not, "How's the weather today?" right? She says, "Yeah, I actually design hats. I won an award at the Kentucky Derby for a hat I designed, and I also like themed parties. For my birthday, I did a 1920s themed party." And then I said, and she shows me some pictures. I said, "Geez," I go, "you're really talented. That's incredible. The only way I got through my shifts was to build in some me time. I love that you take time to regroup." Then she says, "I do, but I wish there was something I could do while I'm at work." Ding, 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 ding. What just happened? She just opened the door wide open for me to give her an oil sample, right? I wish there was something I could do at work. And so I respond, "You know what? I have something that actually really might help you. Why don't you smell this?" And I whip out Stress Away. I got a little dram of Stress Away in my bag, right? Within 3 minutes, this cashier is glowing. She showed the roll-on to every single Nordstrom employee within 30 feet of her. 4 cashiers rush over. They're all interested in the starter kit. I leave her my name and contact information. I Facebook friend her. I give her a portable office and a purple bag, which I'll tell you about in a second. I collect her information. That's how you sign kits. Do you see this? There she is. All right, she's right on page 89. I even asked her if I could use her in my book. So that's an example of role playing. And it all started with, "Gosh, you look tired today," right? You look tired today. That's what I mean about asking leading questions. Let them lead the conversation. You get out of the conversation. You let them lead it. And then you just meet them in that place where they are. Maybe you can't give them an entire dram of Stress Away, but you could rub a little on them that they could smell all day long if you carry Stress Away roll-on in your bag, right? There's 10 more of those in the second edition of the book. So may it bless you a little bit. All right. So principle number 1, I'm gonna give you 5 principles super fast because I got to get off of this training. Principle 1, meet them where they are. Don't hunt them down. Meet them where they are. A Walmart worker, another example in there, she missed her son. She wanted to be with her son on his birthday. That was where that conversation started. The Nordstrom employee was stressed. Yes, she did get a kit. And so did 4 other people at Nordstrom. And so start there. What matters to them? This is a business of serving. It's a business of serving. Principle number 2, always come prepared. Always come prepared, all right? That's why I make up purple bags. So what's inside the purple bags? I'm going to do a whole training on these, so I'm not going to go deep into them, but I have instructions on how to assemble these little ditties on my website. I'll show you where it's at real quick, but it's got a class in there. Works really well for people who keep telling you they want to come to class, but they don't show up. It's got a CD in there. It's got Fearless. It's got the Game Plan Mini in there, which shows the business opportunity, how to order the kit. But I always come prepared because Those books and that CD can do so much more talking than you can do in 2 minutes. You use that 2 minutes to listen to them, to meet them where they are, offer the bag to finish the conversation, right? And then you Facebook friend them so you can touch base with them later, right? Just Facebook friend them. And so most of them are not going to give you their cell phone if they're in your cold market, but a Facebook friend, that leaves a little bit of distance that's safer for them. All right, I want to show you something. If you go to oilabilityteam.com, if you're under the shop button, that's where you can find the book right here, right? But if you go to share, there's hundreds of things under here that are completely free. Everything under share is free. Textable classes, another way of getting people to connect with you when you're talking to them cold. You literally text them an entire 101 class and they can listen on their cell phone. Purple follow-up bags is right here. All the instructions for putting those bags together is right there. All right, boot camp is up here as well. We've been collecting every single day's videos and putting them right there for you. Even the shorter ones are up there as well, right? What about those who have no Facebook? Then I probably would collect their cell phone then. So that you're able to touch base with them again a little bit later on, or Instagram or any other way of connecting with them. Okay, so principle number 3. So number 2 is always come prepared. Number 3, utilize Eric Worre's if I will you statement. If I give you this book, which can be read on your 15-minute lunch break, will you read it? If I give you this CD, will you put it in your CD player and you drive home and just listen to it? It perfectly answers what you just asked me. It's exactly the answer to the question you just asked me. And would it be okay if I check in with you in 2 days? May I Facebook friend you just to see how you're doing, right? That's how you build relationships with your cold market. Principle number 4, never, ever, ever, ever walk away without getting their contact information, or you just gave your time and your resources for nothing. You just burned your paycheck in the fireplace, right? You don't want to do that. Principle number 5, follow up. Hey, I'm Sarah, the crazy oils lady. I was just checking on your stress level today. I hope things went a little bit better for you, right? So just put down your frustrations, get over fear, and touch base. Have you got all that? We just did the most ridiculous training on how to connect with people in 28 minutes. That was crazy, absolutely crazy. So here's some free stuff to help you out. Textable classes have saved me. I literally just copy the link and send it to them, and they can listen to the whole class on their cell phone. Toxin-Free Life with Thieves is up there. That's free. The 101 class is up there. That's free, right? Utilize those things. Bring purple bags with you, because 80% of your business is just being prepared. It's just being prepared. Look at every person as an opportunity to change their life, either with the business financially or with toxic-free products. Don't look at them in fear. Look at them as a person who needs a leg up. If you saw someone who's hurt in the grocery store, you would help them. But not everybody's calling out. But everybody needs your help. So you have to have eyes to see it around you. Learn the art of listening and responding, and you can build a diamond ship. No now does not mean no forever. Keep your feet moving. Keep serving others, because you have what it takes. You have what it takes to go all the way. So your homework tonight is to take your workbook and work through everything that we just talked about. Yeah, we are going to get the new PowerPoint up for the new 101 probably this week, all right? I want you to make a long-running list of everybody in your warm market. Carry that workbook around with you for 30 days and keep adding to that list. Just keep adding and adding and adding. Make it a point to touch base with at least 3 people on that list this week and build relationships with them, right? Build the relationships with them and keep adding to the list. It absolutely works. Tomorrow, I'm going to walk you through all the elements of a successful class that leads to kit sales. So successful class that leads to kit sales, and my secret weapon for Essential Rewards for following up that leads to lifelong oilers on Essential Rewards. So I'll see you guys then. I want you to put your sandalwood and your ULA friends and your gathering. You remember your neuroauricular point right here on your ear, down here on your ear, right? Put those oils on your ear points tonight. Go to bed. Know that you have what it takes. Know that you're enough. You absolutely can do this. Absolutely. You just got to love people. You got to love people and be there for them and listen. I'll see you tomorrow night. Same bat time, same bat channel. We're on to day 5. We're almost halfway through. Get your homework done. I love you guys. And I can't wait to have a few more minutes tomorrow with you to show you how to get people on Essential Rewards. All right. See you soon.